everybody, welcome back to Rebootleggers. This is a comedy podcast where we reboot every piece of media, whether you like it or not. I'm Scott Owen.
I'm Frank Serra.
And joining us today is author, guest, BJ Mendelson.
Hello.
Welcome. Thank you for
Thanks
coming.
for having me.
We just already thanked BJ before we started recording, but we had to thank him again on the record. So it might have been weird behind the scenes. So BJ has come to us with a great idea that why don't you pitch it to us, BJ, so that we can get it from you on the show. But we've already accepted your pitch, but we still want you to pitch it to us.
I think it'd be hilarious if we remade Terminator 2 as a elementary school production that's played completely straight.
This is great.
So
This is great, especially because I don't think you had any way of knowing this, but almost exactly a year ago, we rebooted Terminator 1 as a cartoon set in a high school. So we're
I did not.
yeah, so we did Terminator 1 as high school, and now we'll do Terminator 2 as, we'll take it further back to elementary. Mm-hmm. We'll just skip over middle school because nobody gives a shit about middle school. But so why don't one of the two of you give me just a brief summary of original Terminator 2 for anybody who hasn't seen it. It is 2018, so I think it's possible that some people haven't seen Terminator 2 these days, which is weird, but it's 27 years old, guys.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's old. So give me, BJ, why don't you start us, and then maybe Frank fill in any gaps, but what's Terminator 2's deal?
Well, Terminator 2 is often referred to as the good one.
Mm-hmm.
And essentially, it's a remake of the first one. There's a lot of big action set pieces. It's a lot of fun. It's big. It's stupid. But at the time, it was sort of revolutionary in terms of like special effects. So it's also like one of the first big spectacles that people saw on screen in the early 90s. So that was sort of the big attraction to it.
There's a liquid guy who's made of liquid metal.
That's right.
I was honestly, when you mentioned the special effects, I was starting to think, like, what were the big ones in that movie? And it took me like a full 5 seconds to remember Liquid Metal Guy and be like, oh yeah, that was amazing.
Yeah, the highway chase also.
Yes, that's a very good scene.
That was a high watermark for, I forget what year it came out.
91.
Okay, so it predates Jurassic Park.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
So, I mean, you gotta remember, like, this was the high watermark for special effects until Jurassic Park came out.
Explains that puts this into a lot better context for me. I didn't realize, it's a whole 2 years before Jurassic Park. For anybody who hasn't seen the movie, just Google Terminator 2 highway scene and just watch that one scene. If you don't watch any more of Terminator 2, just watch that scene. But then also go watch the rest of Terminator 2. Frank, what do you remember of this movie? Have you seen this movie, Frank?
I've seen the film, yes.
Good. Okay, good.
So let's see. Arnold Schwarzenegger, he comes back. Well, he's back, but he's not the same one as the first one. He's the other one, right?
Yes.
So he's the T-800, the version 800 Robo Murderer, and he has a flesh body on top of a metal body.
He's a robot.
He's a robot man.
Is he from? Like, and he's from? Where's he from?
He's from the future this time, right? Because they send him. This time it's John Connor that sends him back in Terminator 2,
I mean, he's always from the future, but now it's just the good guys
Both
sent him back instead of the bad guys.
So instead of being evil, he got hacked and reprogrammed to be good, and then he gets sent back to kill the new fancy version of Terminator, the T-1000, who's all like morphing liquid metal, and he can so he can do whatever he wants technically, but all he does is turn his arms into swords.
He
and
can
then also
shape-shift.
Transform into people.
He shapeshifts into different people to trick other people and then stab them with his arm swords.
With his arm swords, the only approved weapon that they really had at the time.
I think he shoots a gun but he has to hold the gun. He can't turn into a gun, right?
Gun.
Yeah.
I don't think he could turn into a gun.
That would have been very cool. Now, I don't know that we should really be bringing it up, but in Terminator 3, isn't that Terminator also a liquid Terminator? Or no, the lady Terminator?
Are you talking about, I don't know.
I can't remember.
It was so bad that the second I finished watching it, I was like, delete.
That didn't happen. So yeah, Terminator Arnold comes back from the future. He because of the way time travel works, clothes can't go to the past, so he shows up naked. And he steals clothes from a biker in a biker bar. Man, I don't know that I fully grasped the the weight of turning this into an elementary school production, because just all the scenes that we're gonna have to
He
figure out.
spends a solid 3 minutes
This
just
is gonna be
nude while
great.
people check him out. Yeah.
It's true. Okay.
If you go back and you watch that bar scene, there's a part where he walks by a waitress, and the waitress just stops what she's doing and just looks right at his dong.
That'll be.
And it's just like clear framed shot of her like looking down and then holding it.
I don't remember that scene, but I believe you. So this will be so Terminator Arnold, the T-800, he spends the movie defending 12-year-old John Connor and his mom Sarah Connor from the T-1000. 12-year-old John Connor, who's kind of an insufferable prick, but he because
John Connor's going to grow up and lead a revolution against the evil robots, so he has to make it that long until he can do that, basically.
But the whole time,
time
you're rooting for him to die.
Yes, you hate him so much. He's a hacker, though. He's a good hacker who can hack ATMs. And he, I can't remember before. Is he aware of his destiny before Arnold shows up? Like, did his mom tell him?
He's kind of jaded about it. He doesn't believe her.
Okay.
Yeah.
And she starts out in like a mental institution, right?
Right. Yeah,
That's
she's crazy.
Oh, right. And then Terminator breaks her out, and there's that iconic "Come with me if you want to live." That's in that movie, right? Or is that Terminator 1? It's got to be Terminator.
I think that's in every movie.
Every single movie ever made.
I think every single one they say that.
Every Terminator, or just every movie ever?
Someone says it in each Terminator movie.
Okay.
But this is the one where Arnold says it.
That makes sense. Their ultimate strategy is to defeat dismantle the company that creates the technology that eventually turns into Terminators, right? That's
right. That's right.
So then they do it, and then they have to kill Arnold because he's also that technology. He goes into a lava pit. They've got like a bowl of lava.
Yeah.
And he thumbs up at the end, and it's very cool.
But also stupid.
It's also stupid.
There's a piece of his arm that they leave behind.
Right. Yeah, they do a really bad job. Basically, I think the point of every single one of these movies is that you can't change the future because the future still happens.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And then they did more of them, and now they're starting it over, I think. They're completely rebooting it, which...
It's, so the new one is a direct sequel to Terminator 2.
Okay.
Oh.
So they're doing the Superman Returns thing where they're just ignoring, like, 3 and 4.
3 and 4, and... Is there a 5th one?
Of Superman?
No, of Terminator.
Terminator Genesis isn't that?
Yeah, Genesis.
Genesis with which one was Christian Bale? Salvation. Doesn't matter. These are all bad ones. And we're rebooting a good one, and it's going to be great. So let's get into our first segment called Love It or Leave It.
Love me or leave me or let me be lonely.
BJ, this is where we just discuss what we want to keep and what we want to get rid of. Now, since we like we've said, we've never really adapted it for the stage, let alone elementary school kids. This will be an interesting feat. So just tell me, what do you love? What do we have to keep for this reboot?
A lot of the movements are unintentionally funny.
Yes.
The way the robots move, the Terminators. So the reason why this came to me in the first place was I used to be a substitute teacher. My dad had taught in middle school for like 40 years as a history teacher.
Ooh.
My best friend Jackie is currently a teacher. She and I have a show that people can listen to over on the podcast page of my website. So I had this visual of a really like chunky husky kid running across the stage like the T-1000.
Love it.
And doing it like completely committed to it. Like this is his moment to shine. You know? Like this is, and so that's something that we have to keep is the way that the T-1000 runs, the awkward manner that Arnold speaks to everyone because he's trying to be cool and trying to connect, but he kind of fails at it throughout the film. Those are really the elements. Plus, I thought it'd be funny to do like the highway scene, but with like Hot Wheels.
That'd be great.
Or something like that they could use on stage.
Or just they're in like big wheels or power wheels, just wheeling around.
Those green machines.
Yeah.
Yes.
So the T-1000, he runs because he's like the guy's playing it up like super robot. Doesn't he run like he keeps his back like super rigid and like somehow only moves his arms and legs?
I think what people are probably more familiar with is Ned Flanders Because they did a spoof on this in one of the Simpsons episodes where Homer's trying to get away from Ned, and Ned's got 2 golf clubs in his hands. He starts running after Homer, and he's got like the golf clubs out the same way the T-1000 does.
Yeah.
So you might have seen that on the internet. But yeah, the way he runs is he's got his arms out. It's like watching a weird ostrich.
Right. Yes.
If
yeah,
an
I
ostrich
remember
had
that.
arms.
Oh yeah, because that's so. I remember in that scene he's got like crowbar hands instead of
Right,
stabby
yeah.
hands. One thing I think a point of order we need to address up top is we're creating this in mind for like a very an elementary school with an incredibly high production budget, right? Or are we thinking very low budget?
No, it's got to be low budget.
Okay,
It's gonna
low
be
budget.
cardboard and stickers.
Cardboard and stickers. Okay. So we love awkward Terminator movements and highway scene. I agree. Frank, what do you love?
So we're gonna need to find some way to keep most of the action without requiring minors to punch each other.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yes.
think.
And
So I think we just keep that in the back of our heads.
uh-huh.
Um,
Okay.
But I do want to keep. This is tough, especially in a modern age. I want to keep all the guns.
Yeah, I think we could just
But-
use Nerf guns, right? That'd be
Right,
fine.
yeah.
Nerf guns, yeah.
Nerf guns are still culturally acceptable.
Maybe there's some opportunity for cross promotion. I don't know where we want to go.
Brought
with
to you
that.
by Nerf. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I think we should I want to keep that biker bar scene, but we'll have to figure out the logistics of implying that an elementary school child is naked on stage. Maybe we just give him like a skin suit. I don't know, but
Oh,
Big,
you know what?
like a big bush,
Right.
like a big
You can have
cardboard
them-
bush that he holds up like a shield.
You could do the cardboard box. You could also have them in a barrel.
oh, the barrel's good.
the barrel and suspenders.
Barrel and suspenders is great. Okay, so then so we have to keep obviously, I mean, Sarah Connor and John Connor because otherwise there's no movie. Is
John Connor a real baby?
should we have John? So are you saying
Because
literal
if Sarah
baby?
Connor's going to be 12, is John Connor going to have to be an actual baby that
Do we
is
need to
like
be-
someone's cousin?
Oh, so this is my workaround to that. Sarah Connor is played by one of the hotter teachers.
One of the teachers. Is,
Okay.
Okay.
And that's how you get around that, because then you could have like a 6th or 7th
Mm.
grader, or a 6th grader because it's elementary school.
Yeah,
Could be John Connor.
I like that.
Yeah.
That-
One of
that
those
works.
drama teachers that's like weirdly way too into being in the kids' production herself.
Yeah,
Right.
she's there. She still wants to break it into Broadway,
Yeah.
but this is her stepping stone. Okay, how are we? I want to somehow keep Liquid Robot, but how are we going to achieve that with a low budget, high elementary school production?
That is a great question. I haven't
Can
come up
we?
with
Okay, each of the T-1000's form is played by a child wearing like a Halloween mask.
Mm-hmm.
Every time the T-1000 transforms, stagehands throw a tarp over him, and then the other kid comes out in the new T-1000 form.
Yeah, I guess this isn't as hard
There
as
you
I
go.
thought it was going to be, because he can shapeshift, which means you just get the other actors like they do in a real movie, and then if we want him to have hook hands, we just like put
You
a
just bust those
cardboard
nipples.
prop over his
They
hands.
sell those Wolverine toys. We can,
They do.
Yeah, we could just make a cardboard thing and shove it over
Yeah.
his hands. So that's
or like
fine.
the Calvin Hobbes transmogrifier, where like he always conveniently walks into like a cardboard phone booth
Mm-hmm.
and then just comes out as the
As a
next
different
one.
person. Yeah, that's great. If we could like find a school with like quintuplets or something to be each form of the Terminator, that'd be good.
Yeah, that's just kind of on the front of the of like the production package. It's like warning requires quadruplets.
or very or Mission Impossible mask technology.
But you know what I mean, like if it's so to back up, like I was a theater director at a day camp,
Good.
and we had like zero budget, like we had nothing to work with, so we had to use sheets at one point
Very good.
just to be able to say, all right, well, this character doesn't really have an identity, so we're going to put the sheet over them. So I wonder if everyone who's performing as the T-1000 would just wear the sheet.
We just never see his face.
like a
Right,
like a
you would never
tinfoil
see 'em.
space blanket.
That's pretty
Yes.
good.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. Do you want that? That makes him almost scarier because he's a
Yeah.
faceless robot.
The enemy
Right.
unknown.
Okay, I love it. Okay, what do we want to get rid of about this? What can we leave behind, if anything? There have been episodes where we don't leave behind much, but I don't know if that's the case here. What should we not keep, BJ?
Probably the ending. of Arnold going into the lava pit might be a little traumatic both for the audience and for the children.
That is a good point.
Yeah, maybe they just all become friends.
Yeah, no, that would be awesome if they just like all high five each other at the end and go, "Oh, we're not worried about the future. What's the worst that can happen?"
Including the T-1000? Does he like...
Yeah,
Right,
well, the only reason the T-1000 was chasing them was because he had hurt feelings, so then they help him probably.
Oh, is this an anti-bullying?
It's like an anti-bullying
It could be.
Okay,
Be
the
a star.
T-1000 is a bully who's just had his feelings hurt. Now, I wanna make sure we don't... This can't be like a blaming the victim thing, though.
No. I mean, he probably thinks that they stole something from Dyson. This way, you could still incorporate the missing technology. Like he mistakenly thinks that they have something that they don't.
Yeah. Okay.
And then at the end, he goes, "Oh, you guys didn't have it, so I guess we're cool now."
Yeah.
Kind of like in Ant-Man and the Wasp with Ghost.
Yes, that's good. Yeah. Just, hey, we didn't have this thing.
Yeah, we didn't have your Pokemon cards.
It's like, oh, I'm
Pokemon
sorry.
cards still
Oh, they're still
Oh yeah, there's still a thing.
somehow like I don't.
defying all
Is there
odds.
aside from Mickey Mouse, is there anything that has maintained that level of staying power? I guess Power Rangers, huh? It just blows my mind that I was around for the start of a thing that is still going.
I mean, it went away. But I mean, I was thinking of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, but that
That's
also
still
went away.
But it also didn't. Like, they still got those toys. They got a new show. Like, they've had consistent new shows going. My nephews love Ninja Turtles still.
Really?
Yeah, like, it's still
wow.
a thing. Man, that's capitalism, I guess. Okay. So we want to leave the ending. They're all gonna have to be friends instead of one robot.
Dying.
Slowly, like, he's slowly lowering himself
Right.
into
Yeah.
lava.
You don't melt in lava instantly.
It's very good that he doesn't feel pain.
As far as we know.
As far as we know, he's very good at hiding it. If he does have pain.
Right.
Okay. Anything else we want to leave?
I really, really want to keep the soundtrack. I think it'd be hilarious to have kids singing Guns N' Roses.
Yes.
So we're gonna keep that.
So
But
you want
I
to have like a
almost-
chorus instead of
Yes.
instead of just a playing on a stereo. I like that. I'm into that.
I think that would be fantastic. I don't know what else I would cut though, aside from like maybe like the invasion of the Dyson Tech building.
Yeah, I think there's something just for plot and like you obviously. So this movie's runtime, it's at least
long.
2 hours. Yeah, no parent wants to see an over 60-minute elementary school production, and 60 minutes is pushing it for elementary school. I feel like it's got to be real good. Like, I don't care
60
if you're
minutes with like an intermission.
Yeah, I don't care if you're like the best parent ever. You're gonna get real tired of seeing elementary schoolers on stage after 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move on into our next segment called When and Where, where we talk about setting and genre. And I think this is, we can kind of just skip over it. I feel like we already got our setting, which is, it's still Terminator, and then the genre is elementary school play, which I'd never really considered as its own genre before, but I think we might be kind of pioneering the medium here.
Awesome.
Yeah, I think,
That's great.
unless anybody's got anything to add to setting and genre, we can just jump right into, I feel like the next segment we're also going to have to skip over kind of quick, but...
Well, hold on. Because some of the casting might be important, because we can't have Billy Harper play John Connor, because he won't be able to pay attention for that long.
That's true. We'll talk about that when we get there. For setting, I love the idea of a chorus. Feel free to say no if we don't want to do this, but should this be a musical?
Okay, so I know we talked about this a little bit through email. So my only reluctance to making a musical is it's become a joke in
That
a
is
lot of
true.
TV shows lately, where they're doing like X the
That is
musical,
100%
so like
true.
Life in Pieces. Like the example I think I mentioned in the email was Life in Pieces was doing like Silence of the Lambs, the musical,
Yeah.
and it was all kids. So I was kind of like, yeah, it's a funny joke, but I see it a lot in pop culture now, so I kind of want to keep it
Yes,
straight.
that's a really good point, and I'm into that.
It's been
yeah,
done.
let's just make it a play. I feel like Buffy's the reason for that. Did Buffy do it first? Their musical episode, and then everything after
Yeah.
that? Because there was even, there's an episode of Supernatural where they go to a high school and they're doing a musical about their lives. It's weird. Okay, so we'll keep it just a regular play, which I think, kids can handle that. That's fine. Okay, let's jump into our casting segment called "Who Can It Be?"
Can it be now?
Now, Frank, you mentioned some specific children. This is my question: are we casting this for a specific place, or are we writing this to be distributed across all elementary schools to be used?
I think it's up to us whether or not this is limited engagement. If we can scout a elementary school ripe with talent, then why not start it there?
So maybe we just need to talk about the type of kids we want for the main roles, since we don't know who any of these kids are yet.
Yeah, I mean, I would keep it open to every school because that's what's going to happen. Like, even if you did set out to have it as
That's
one
how you
school,
get it to Broadway.
Exactly. I mean, like, teachers know other teachers. Like, we go to conferences with each other. We've got closed Facebook groups and other things where we're all talking to each other. So if you were to do it as like a one-off, it would not last as a one-off very long.
Yeah, you'd have to have multiple schools doing this, kind of like how every high school at some point will do like Seussical, a musical I've never seen, but I know about because every high school does it.
Yeah, they all do it.
Okay, so let's talk main characters and just our archetypal children who we'll need for this. So first, John Connor, 12-year-old bad boy in the movie. I think his hair was cool for the 90s because it was like long in front and in his face all the time.
No, his hair was so cool for the 90s. So the unfortunate equivalent of modern cool guy hair would be the man bun, I think.
No, I think we might be past man bun. I don't know. Maybe I'm just hopeful that we're past man bun.
I mean, I kind of see man buns show up only in TV and films as something to make fun of. It's sort of like butt chugging, where it's not an actual thing, but the media jumped on it and almost made it into a thing.
I'm so glad that that's not real. Because I was not in the party scene as a child,
awful.
And so I saw those and was like, boy, am I glad I didn't go to any parties.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just one of those like strange things. So, I mean, to me, John Connor doesn't necessarily have to be a boy.
That's a good
either.
point. He could be anybody Connor.
Joan Connor.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't. I mean, Sarah Connor has to be a woman because
it's the mom.
I think that and plus it's also a pioneering, strong female lead. She's one of the earlier examples of that, so I think it'd be wrong to change it
For sure.
But John Connor could be anybody. T-1000 could be anyone because it's got no face. And really, the Terminator
could be anybody. You can make a robot look like anyone, and we're not gonna put a kid in an Arnold mask on stage. That's just absurd.
Well, we could.
Now that I said that,
yeah. Now there's those Halloween costumes with like Batman or Superman muscles. Get some of that.
The only way I'm okay with this is if he looks like a big head mode from a video game, where like his Arnold head is clearly too big for his body,
like a large bucket.
Like a large bucket, but it has to look. It can't be a bucket. It has to look exactly like Arnold.
It could be a bucket.
I don't
it depends
want it
on how big the body is going.
So you're saying just like a bucket with sunglasses painted on
Well,
it, and
like
one
a
red light coming out from behind one of them.
You know the exoskeleton from Alien? Think about if we drape fake muscles over that, and then make it so that the bucket they wear is in relation a normal size head.
Are you talking about the loader robot?
The
from
loader
Alien?
exoskeleton, yeah.
You want to put muscles on that?
I
don't
muscles
understand.
on that.
I don't understand how that's relevant to the
kid
Terminator.
in there. No. Put muscles on it. Get the kid inside of it. The bucket head is the Terminator head.
So
now it's proportional to the bucket.
So you want us to prop out a robot exoskeleton body and put a muscle suit over that, and then put just a bucket on it?
Yeah, well, and then there's a kid inside driving.
Well, yeah. Interesting.
Obviously.
Interesting. I mean, BJ, is that feasible for the child stage?
Not if you're like in a cafetorium.
Ooh.
Yeah, that would be the only thing. Like, if
PVC
you're
it.
in...
I mean, how big are you thinking, Frank?
Yeah.
Are you thinking? Does it have to be? Because Frank, I don't know if you remember, but the loader from Alien is huge. It's like the size of 10 men.
It would be kid-sized. It wouldn't be alien
You're
size, right?
picturing like Troy Barnes' costume from Community.
Exactly. Thanks.
So okay, so he's just got robot feet and kind of just like he's just got PVC
yeah.
directly around his regular.
He turns
body.
from a 12-year-old into like the size of a 19-year-old.
Oh, so he would be very. I guess. See, this is actually a thing. What would be better? Is it better for the Terminator to also be adult-sized, or for him to be child-sized for this production? I think child-sized is better.
We just give him big sunglasses.
I just want him to have a giant head on a regular body. So giant sunglasses is fine too. Every school's gonna have a different budget, so I think we got to be open to that.
Minimum giant sunglasses, but
Minimum giant sunglasses.
Yeah.
So
I'm all for the bucket. I also think like an oversized leather jacket.
yes,
That like does not fit.
it's like
at
his
all.
dad's
Would
leather
be-
jacket.
yeah.
Right,
That's
Would be
perfect.
fantastic.
Okay, so our John Connor kid, that's gonna have to be a kid who. So John Connor he's not really the main character, but he kind of is. I can't like.
So, in order to match the personality that kind of seeps through for John Connor as a kid in the film, the person playing John Connor needs to be forced to do it by his parents.
Oh,
to just get that underlying
To get
I don't
that
really want
realism.
to be here. Yeah.
Okay, I think that'll be fine. You know,
Where
just
it's like
forcing a kid to do a
if
thing
he
doesn't
doesn't
want to do.
if he doesn't do it, he can't play soccer, that kind of thing.
Right.
Okay, yeah, I'm into that. Find the kid,
that.
find the best sports kid they got there, and tell him if he doesn't do this, he can't graduate, or he's gonna get held back. Getting held back is very scary for an elementary school kid. I mean, I think it'd be scary for any kid, I guess, because it's a whole other year. Oh gosh.
Well, at that age, I'm thinking like you could also go to the other extreme of like they are the drama kid,
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
and they have to be John Connor. Like they have to be the center of attention.
Right.
But I don't know if you really start to see that until like middle
Right.
school.
Yeah. In elementary school, everyone's still pretty chill. We don't get terrible until we hit puberty, and then it's
Right.
a long while after that till some of us get out of it. Hopefully.
If ever.
Yeah. So we'll give those two options. I think the soccer kid is the way to go, because then you just get that he doesn't have to pretend to be resentful. Like that's just the
Right.
raw emotion right there. And that's one of the other things we're gonna have to deal with is child actors are notoriously not good actors because they're children and don't have a lot of experience. So I think essentially we're gonna have to be tricking a lot of these kids into giving us the real emotions in a hopefully non-traumatic way.
Yeah, method acting is not. I was trained in like the whole Stanislavski school and all that. Like that's sort of my background. So yeah, it's definitely not for kids and not something they can grasp. Even
You
like
just gotta trick them.
Yeah, so
yeah, I mean that's basically it, or wind them up in some
Mhm.
way.
we're gonna have to put together kind of a director's commentary that kind of walks the drama teacher leading this kind of through like a Kubrick method of tricking the real life actors into feeling the real life emotions we want them to carry over.
Yeah,
into
the Mendelson method. I think it'll be called after this episode.
There you go.
That's your
There you go.
legacy.
I think that if the drama teacher is one of those drama teachers that thinks that like this is their
Their
this is their
opus,
calling
yeah.
and this is then they're definitely going to be like a monster
Yes,
on stage
okay.
to the kids. So they'll be mouthing them their lines and
And I
directing.
think we get that person to play Sarah Connor, and then that chemistry
Yes.
does not go away
Mhm.
when the action starts.
They have
Right.
no reprieve emotionally. That teacher's going to be there the entire time.
This poor
just
child.
shouting at them.
Okay, so what kind of kid? What are we gonna have to do to get a kid to play a robot?
Oh, they'll all do it. Like that's
Have
the
you ever
easiest
met
thing.
Have you ever met a kid who did not want to play a robot?
Yeah.
Can we
They-
get a kid to play a confused, emotionless robot though?
I think that I see the thing about robots or anything that's like not human is that it doesn't matter what the specifics are. If you just say, "Can you go on stage and be a robot?"
That's true.
You will have a line out the door of like elementary school kids that don't want that role.
That's great. And then we might have a bunch of Terminators who are interested in inserting a lot of like bleep bloops into their lines, which I mean I'm kind of okay with
Okay,
that.
yeah.
I'm all for it. I think it would have made the sequels better.
If Arnold was just beep boop, why do you cry? That's great. I do want to get a child's voice saying things like my CPU is a neural net processor.
Yes.
Mhm.
Why do you cry is a good one. Come with me if you want to live will be iconic because like all the adults in the audience will. That's when we hook them with that line.
Right.
So much so that
okay.
some of the kids will probably just start saying it at other points in the production, kind of once they see
Yeah.
a reaction.
Yeah, because kids do that.
They do. I would love to see Sarah Connor's like doomsday monologue at the end.
Yes. Oh my god.
Done
And
by a
just
kid.
unedited, like the full actual thing. Like we're not changing it for the kids. Like everything else about the kids stuff will be like kind of baby proofed almost. And then her
Like all the kids
sugarcoat
leave the
things a
stage,
little
the
bit.
drama teacher gets up front and gets her moment in the spotlight, literally.
That's right.
It's just her. And then there's no like There's no, like, it doesn't end with a big, like, finale song where everybody comes out and bows or anything. Like, she gives her monologue, and then the stage goes dark, and then the house lights come up, and the audience leaves.
Yeah, have you seen? I don't know if you guys have seen the stage production of Mice and Men, but
No.
it just ends like Lenny dies. Spoiler alert.
That'll
So you hear the gunshot, and then it just goes dark, and that's the end of the production. So that's
Yeah.
kind of perfect for this.
that'll be great, man. That'll be, if we pull this off. So here's, I want to do this because it's a big risk, no risk, no reward. But this is either going to be the best elementary school production ever made, or it will be very bad. And I think that's, if we don't push the boundaries of elementary school plays, we shouldn't be doing this. So I think that's perfect. Okay, so we've got Sarah, Terminator, John. I mean, is there anybody else worth casting? The T-1000 is just going to be another kid who wants to be a robot, but have knife hands instead of a bucket head. Oh yeah, multiple kids with those faces, the tinfoil over their faces.
Yeah. So here's the thing though. As far as the named characters in the movie go, there's only like 3 other ones in Terminator 2.
Yeah, there's Dyson.
And then like the psychiatrist guy, right?
Right.
And then
There's a yeah, he's a therapist. And then his foster parents who do get murdered.
They do. We would have to keep that.
Yeah. Do people
probably-
get murdered in this, or do they just get like
We could push them off the stage.
they get pushed off the
we can
stage?
make it
That's
tasteful.
good.
That's typically how they get around it with kids. Is it's just sort of a big dramatic exit.
Yeah, that'll be good. And so he'll have knife hands, but no one will get stabbed with them. He'll just push people with them.
Yeah.
Or maybe for the production, do we change his knife hands to like Hulk hands or something, like big old boxing gloves?
Oh, that's even better.
Yeah,
just gets
the
big
whole
fists.
hand.
This is an arena that I did want to touch because at the very end, when Arnold uses a grenade launcher to blast the T-1000 into the volcano.
And he's got a lot of holes in him.
Yeah, well, there's
And
also the fact, what's that? Is that grenade launcher is going to be what, like a Nerf football?
No, they
Right.
got big Nerf guns now, man.
Do they?
Yeah, well, I mean, maybe not that big, but they got I mean, these are elementary school kids, so you give them like
They can just
a
like huck
medium-sized
basketball.
Nerf gun. You just give them a medium-sized Nerf gun, and it looks like a grenade launcher in their hands
That's a
because
good
they're
point.
small.
It's all about
Yeah.
scale.
They got Nerf guns that shoot giant darts, so we just give him one of those, and he'll be good. He'll be fine. And then, but the balls are foam, of course, and the kid just falls off the stage. Or wait, no, because they're going to become friends with the T-1000.
Oh, so instead of shooting a grenade launcher, he passes him a basketball.
I think they're still going to shoot Nerf guns at each other until they realize that they're
Until they
friends.
realize they should be friends.
Until they realize that both of their moms
Although-
named Martha.
If they're in one of those multi-purpose rooms that does so happen to have a basketball hoop,
They will play basketball at the end,
yeah.
for sure.
yes, they definitely
thank
will.
you. I
Before
was-
the Doomsday monologue.
I was kind of coming around to that, which is that instead of firing a grenade launcher and then launching him into a vat of molten steel, maybe he passes him a basketball and they kind of play like a friendly one-on-one.
Do we just? That's what I was going to ask. Do we force the audience to watch a full game, like a first to 15 game of 2 7-year-olds playing one-on-one
A
basketball?
protracted real-life game of horse,
It is
in which if the kid playing the T-1000 wins, they have to reset because the T-800 has to win.
and I don't know if you've ever seen an elementary schooler try to play basketball, but about 7 times out of 10, the shot doesn't even
Scott.
touch the net.
This is
Yeah.
going to be so much better. I personally think what they have to do is, like they take a shot or whatever, and the T-800 says, "If I make this, like, we'll just sit down and talk." So then the kid has to shoot the basketball, and then regardless of what happens, they both have to act like he just made the shot.
So if he completely misses, they'll be like, "Wow, what a good shot!"
Yeah, like
Can't
I
believe you-
guess you win the bet.
Nothing but net, even
Yeah.
though it's like 4 feet short of the net. Okay, I like it.
I like this.
Okay, I mean, there's nothing really else for casting. We've just got the drama teacher who's too into it. She'll be Sarah Connor. The soccer kid who's forced to be in it, and then just any kid who wants to be a robot. And then, of course, the chorus, which will just be all the rest of the kids in the music class.
Right.
Frank, we need to talk about, are Dylan and Cole Sprouse going to be in this somewhere? Because we do, like,
Yeah.
we like to have them where we can.
We often bring them in anytime they're available.
Do you think that we could get them to show up for a
We could do
elementary
like a
school production?
we could do like a star reserved front row kind of thing where the Sprouses both
Just get them in the audience.
just get them in the audience, get them to hype it
Maybe
up.
we could get this production made at their original elementary. Do you think they went to school? They were child actors.
Yeah, they were almost certainly homeschooled because they acted since they were like
All right,
9.
we'll figure it out. We'll give them a call, just see if they want to show up and maybe get them to do some press for it. And then okay, let's get to the segment we've all been waiting for, which is let's plot this out in what's going on. So, talk to me. I don't know, how detailed do we need to get in our plotting? Do we need to go like beat for beat but turn it elementary school, or are we like
I think we probably just need to iron out which 45 minutes we're keeping of this movie.
Yeah. I
So,
think so.
should we? The movie starts in the future. It's like a future battle where they establish we need to go back in time again. We see future John Connor. What does the future look like on an elementary school play? BJ, you've got some experience on the stage here. What does this look like?
What there's what I want to do and what's realistic.
Okay.
Like what I want to do is have one of those backdrops that you have to paint because you don't have any
Yes.
money
Yep.
as a teacher.
Mhm.
And have a whole bunch of like skulls,
Okay,
like little cartoony skulls
Yes.
that are they're painted on it.
love it.
And then have a kid kind of walk in like and pretend like he's stepping on them. That's not going to happen. Like,
It's the future. Oh, there's skulls everywhere. Are they
like
robot
that-
skulls or human skulls? Because the Terminator
Oh.
robots do look like skeletons.
They do. It would have to be like robot
Mm-hmm.
skulls. I'm sure whatever teacher did that would be like fired immediately.
I don't know if we made them look
Robot-
cartoony enough.
Yeah, principles are weird.
That's true. Principals are weird. They don't remember what it was like to be a kid, or the fact that they saw and enjoyed Terminator.
Exactly. So
Okay.
what's probably more realistic is we just start with in the middle of the action of the kid breaking out Sarah Connor.
Okay.
Okay, yeah.
But we could do like a voiceover where someone just briefly explains in the future, and they just have like a couple kids wearing jumpsuits,
Yeah,
and some
they're
kids have
dancing.
robot faces, and some kids don't. And then we cut to it's just kids breaking Sarah Connor out. Now the T-1000 shows up at the mental hospital, right? And then he's
Right.
about to kill her, and then Arnold shows up and saves her.
Right.
So doesn't he like bust through a wall or something?
Oh, that'll be great with
What-
like cardboard bricks, and then the kid just like walks through them.
She's running one way, and then I think Arnold actually just walks around a corner, and she sees him, and then she freaks out because he tried to kill her in the last movie. But so kid breaks her out. That's just going to be a Nerf fight, right? Like, how should we do that? First, wait, we got to have the biker bar scene. We got to have Arnold coming from the future.
Give me your jacket and your
kid,
Nerf
kid in
blaster.
barrel.
That would be the first scene. That would
first
probably
scene.
be the first thing.
That's good. So he shows up at a juice bar, a big wheel.
Right.
He shows up at it can't be Toys R Us anymore.
well, he goes to the bar and he goes, "Give me a skim milk."
Does he just show up at the park? He just shows up at a park during the middle of the day and asks some kid's mom for a Capri Sun,
That would be good.
and then he takes the kid's give me your dad's jacket. There is a park. There's a playground scene in the original movie, but everyone gets lit on fire.
I don't think we
Yeah.
have the budget for that.
So we won't do that. Okay, so he takes the clothes, cut to Sarah Connor in the mental institution.
Which would not be it would not be a mental. It would probably be like the nurse's office.
Yeah, she's in the nurse. She's in the nurse's office.
With a cameo by the
And-
actual school nurse.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, that'll be great. And the nurse is like, you need to stop telling these crazy made up stories.
Yeah, but
And
she's like-
it's not made up.
She's only kind of humoring them and is way overacting it. Like, you need to
Yeah.
take your medicine. Just
Yeah. It'll be perfect. And then, so then the T-1000 shows up, and he's just a kid with Hulk hands. And he's always dressed like a cop, I guess, because he is a cop in the movie.
Right.
Yeah.
Although
forgot
they would have to sheet on him.
Oh, right, he's just got the sheet on him.
Yeah.
He's just a
Yeah.
nobody who has Hulk hands
Oh.
poking out.
Well, we could put a badge on the sheet.
Yeah, like a
if
badge
we
and
Yeah,
one of those
okay.
one of those patrolman hats.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, a robot.
In order to
Um,
kind of help things along, does the front of the sheet just say T1000 on it?
I
Yeah.
think it
Yeah.
should.
Maybe they're just wearing a cardboard sign. Yeah, it's gotta, because otherwise, every time they show up,
Like, is
one
that
of
a
the cast
ghost?
members is gonna have to say,
Yeah.
"It is the robot, come to kill us. Look at his liquid body."
Yeah.
Okay, so T-1000 shows up. Sarah Connor gets very scared. They run around the stage, and then
We do the chase scene.
So then we go to the highway scene, where they're definitely on big wheels.
Yes. And you've got like kids holding cardboard for like the obstacles, and then they like move out of the way, and it's kind of like
we get kids-
homemade treadmill scenery where it's kids carrying cardboard.
Oh, so they'll just they won't even be pedaling the big wheels. They'll just be sitting on the big wheels and having kids running stuff past them.
Oh, that's even
Yeah.
better.
That's great.
I love that.
So then Arnold is. Can we? If only there was a Nerf gun that you can cock in the cool way that Arnold
With the
reloads
one
his
with the one.
gun.
I think some of the stunts will kind of have to be the safety versions.
Yeah, so he'll just have to be shooting darts behind him while John is getting chased, and it'll be interesting. I mean, we'll do it well.
It will
Now
pay
the truck does
respect to the original scene.
yes. Now the bad guy's truck explodes at the end, so we'll just have like
Dude
it
just
drive
throws
off,
some confetti.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah, have him drive off the side and have him throw confetti in the air.
and the chorus
Like,
just shouts boom. What kind of the chorus is our soundtrack, so they're gonna have to be making this like the background music to this scene.
Oh, so one of the things that inspired this choice in the first place was the kids doing "Live and Let Die," the Guns N' Roses version,
Okay.
like going da 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 da, and so you would have them doing that.
Doing like an a cappella instrumental version of it.
Oh, right.
I love
That's
it.
good.
Okay, that's great. And then will that be the only song? The chorus kids are just doing that the whole play.
I think so, because it's only like it would only be 45 minutes, right?
Yeah.
It's true.
And so I think that's probably the only thing that they're going to learn and kind of master
Right.
for such a short amount of time. So yeah, that'd probably be the only song that they do. But it'd be hilarious.
It'll be
each
really
time they do
good.
it.
Okay, so then they get away, and where do they go? Is this when they go to their warehouse and they like bond a little bit?
Yeah, they would either scene the bond, and then we would go right to the end.
Yeah, we go right to
after
the
that.
end. So in that scene, we'll have to have like we'll have our first introduction, the where John learns the main lesson of this play, which is what is the
cool.
lesson?
Yeah.
Be cool.
It's don't.
Not people feel things that you don't feel. Maybe
We need to keep the part where he like cuts off his left arm and then throws it like a spear.
he does that. Oh, the T-1000.
The T-1000. So he just like throws like a cardboard tube or something.
We can have that at the end, yeah, for sure. His Hulk hand just comes off and he throws it.
Yeah. But he learns that like bullies. Here's the thing though.
So
It's just to be candid, most anti-bullying messages are like kind of bullshit. Like
Right.
the kid's not gonna suddenly be nice.
right, most of them are about just if you talk to the bully, he'll be nice to you, or go tell on him. Which I mean, going and telling on him is the thing that you should do, but no kid's gonna narc.
No, I think what works here is that the T-1000 is just misunderstood.
Yeah, I think that's what it has to be.
because he thinks that they stole something from him.
So maybe John teaches the T-800 that in their bonding scene. Because in the movie, they're like his whole thing in that scene is like trying to teach him how to be more human. And so maybe like the T-800's like, I have to kill the T-1, or I don't know if he'd say kill in the elementary school production, but maybe he says something like, I have to fight him, he's bad. Yeah, I have to stop him. And John's like, have you ever tried talking to him? Maybe he's not so different from you. Maybe like he's a robot like you and can't express his feelings. And then he can like, maybe he asks him about crying. But so maybe John is not as much of a little shit, just kind of a little shit still. And then
I like that.
But John will teach the Terminator how to talk to people and to be empathetic, I guess. He'll teach him about empathy. And then the T-800 will use that to, quote, defeat the 1000.
Yeah, and then he puts his arm over the T-1000 and they start walking away, and then that's when the thumbs up comes out.
Oh, then they thumbs up.
Oh,
does he
nice.
Does he keep his thumb on stage while the rest of him is off stage, and then very slowly
Like he
pull it off stage?
He exits stage left, but just keeps his arm the entire time until it's just his thumbs up coming out. Yeah.
And then Sarah Connor comes out, and this is when the drama teacher, she's like, "This is my time," and she gives that monologue, and it's rough. Like, it's gonna be weird. I think it's gotta be. And then the cast doesn't come out afterwards, which will be, I think that'll be bold. Like, what are we missing anything here? We kind of
The Game of Horse.
Oh, right, Game of Horse.
Yeah. We'd have to have the Game of Horse because that's brilliant.
There's going to be just a kid in a bed sheet playing a game of horse with a kid wearing possibly a bucket. I'm very.
Do we
much
bring a
wanna see
Nerf
this.
hoop up on stage, or have them leave the stage and go over to like have parents move the chairs and like
I think it depends on what kind of room they're
Yeah.
in. If like BJ said, if they're in a multi-purpose room, we'll just put the stage where the basketball game would be, so the kids can play it. But otherwise, like, we might have to just bring up like a Nerf hoop. You've got the stage kids who are all dressed in black and walk in that funny crouch that makes them more noticeable when they're removing props.
Yeah.
Like every stagehand does. They're like, "You can't see me." I'm like, "Well, you're making it weirder now. Like, now I can very see you." Okay. And then so then we got the Game of Horse, then they're friends, then Sarah Connor comes out and ruins everyone's mood.
Yeah.
And then I think Lin-Manuel gets this made into a Broadway production. Like, he's there, we become famous, the Mendelson method is adopted in schools throughout the country.
As it should be.
As it should be. This is going to be big. Okay, I think we just made a play, guys. I think
so.
Our name's on the credit. So this next segment is an audience favorite. This is something we've started doing, BJ, where we come up with a good food pairing for the thing we created. So what kind of snack should people be eating when they see this great elementary school play, and also what flavor of Mountain Dew should they drink?
Oh, jeez. Well, it'd have to be Code Red.
Okay.
To go along
Terminator.
with the red bucket.
Yeah, and the red bucket. I love it.
I'm not sure on a snack. Because what happens is when you have elementary kids, you always have one with like an allergy to something that just ruins it for everybody else.
Yes.
So it's hard to be like, oh, well, you could come in with sheet cookies because there's going to be that one kid who's got like a stupid allergy. So I'm not sure on the...
We just give them like orange slices.
Yeah, I think that would be fine. I mean, like, this is my experience actually working with kids coming out and being like, oh man, that's anytime that food is involved with children, it's a nightmare, especially now.
That's true. What if the kids don't get it? What if it's just for the
parents? Yeah.
You still definitely do Code Red. Or you could do like red Jello.
Oh, Mountain Dew red Jello. And
that would,
or just Jello and Code Red. Just red
that
everything.
Would be cool.
Some kind of like Code Red non-alcoholic Jello shot.
Or maybe it gets a little bit alcoholic and we just don't tell anybody. Make sure none of the kids have it. Although, no, we can't do that. Non-alcoholic. You can't put Jello in a school and tell kids they can't have it.
That just won't work.
They're gonna try to have it.
That dog won't hunt.
Okay, so yeah, we'll do Jello and Code Red, and everybody can have it. All right, I mean, I think that's gonna do it for us. Thank you so much, everyone, for listening. BJ, thank you so much for coming on the show. We really this was great. I hope you had fun.
This was great. I loved it.
Where can our listeners find your stuff?
Oh, I have a ton of stuff, but it's all at bjmendelson.com. I got comic books on there. I got a self-help comic that just came out called The National Story of Minor Significance. I've got a podcast about privacy and what's done with your data. And if you want a free copy of my first book, Social Media is BS, there's a free PDF copy that's also on the contact page. So all my stuff is at bjmendelson.com.
Awesome. Well, if to our listeners, if you like the show, please give us a good rating and review on iTunes. Let's make this. Let's spread this play. Let's somebody make this play. There's got to be at least one elementary school teacher listening. Please make this happen. And I don't care where you live. Frank and I will fly out to watch it. If you know anybody who you think would like the show, please tell them about it. That would help us out a whole lot. So until next time, I'm Scott Owen.
I'm Frank Serra.
And BJ, we always end the show with a password for our users, for our listeners to get in next week. So if you would provide us our password for this week.
Sheetrock.
Sheetrock. Excellent.